Welcome to Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, the podcast that also leaks, but that's more an age thing. This week on Heart and Hand, a rocket man from Elton means that Pedro's still standing. So welcome to Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast. My name's David Edgett and I'm joined this week by another debutant. We're having a run of them, and a man who is making his debut just the 7 years after he was first asked if he wanted to do it. It's Founders Trail legend Mr. Iain McColl.
Thanks very much, David. It's an absolute pleasure to be on.
Finally.
I've been following this, very closely over the last few weeks, and it's been absolutely fantastic to see it grow, among the Rangers support, and it's very much talk of the town, mate. So very much well done.
Well, the first time I asked you if you wanted to do this, Iain and I go back a while, your son was at school, and recently him and his fiancée have just given birth to their first child. So
I know. I mean, seriously, like, son, do you want to maybe slow down here? It's I was seeing myself as one of the lads, a few years ago, knew my grandfather. Like, what's going on here? It's, just get a break, son, and catch your breath a bit, But
I know. I remember standing in the Epi when that boy was 14, thinking he'll be a dad before I am.
But it's fantastic. The main thing is, they're happy. They're happy and they're settled. The wean's great. Which is fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And
a new striker for us in 20 years, hopefully. Wee job. Hopefully. So that's a name to keep an ear out for. So Iain, of course, the reason that Iain is joining us this week is next Monday we are going to have, because it's an international week and obviously a bit of downtime for us, and there won't even be a friendly to talk about, which we'll discuss during the course of the pod. Iain is going to tell us all about the Founders Trail, the genesis of the Founders Trail, what it's about, what inspired it. Really looking forward to that. It'll be a cracking show, so don't miss that. That's next Monday, one of ours. So if you enjoyed our special with Mark Dingwall earlier in the season, you'll enjoy this. But today it's to more current matters than 1872, Iain. Friday night, Rangers went to Hamilton. Now, we like to talk about the game first. However, I think that we'll have to go chronologically in this one and go with what happened in the build-up to it, because I think it informed the tone of the match, and it certainly informed the team situation. Now, coming into the match, there were a couple of conflicting articles. I think it was universally agreed that there was a meeting after the loss in the Old Firm match, which is pretty standard, I would have thought. I don't think anyone can have any objection to that. And out of that meeting came conflicting reports about what had happened at it. If you believe the kind of ones from emanating within the Rangers camp, it was healthy. There was disagreement, but that's fine, everything was good. If you took the more sensationalist that was reported primarily in the Daily Record, that it was toys at the pram and people were screaming and shouting at each other, the outcome of it appeared to be that Kenny Miller was out of the first team picture and didn't travel with the squad to Hamilton on Friday night, and instead went to London with I believe Graham Murty to help him run the under-20s in the game against the friendly against Brentford. What's your take on what's going down? Now, I should say, Iain is close to the club, but without asking you to reveal any confidences, what's your understanding of it?
It's extremely disappointing, Davey. We're only a few weeks into Caixinha's tenure, if we're going to use the start of this season as the beginning of his time at Rangers, and it's extremely disappointing. I just always believe, with these kind of things, that there's never smoke, without fire, but you're trying to piece all the pieces, what you hear, and people's opinion, and you say to yourself, well, if Kenny Miller's handed a year's contract, which I think he'd be the first to admit, he was fortunate, to be given, and then for him, just as the season starts, to apparently start throwing the toys at the pram, and then there's meetings going on at the club, with the management and the players, but football clubs, and they seem to constantly have these meetings, after a bad defeat, and but nothing ever seems to be never seems to be resolved. You know, and I'm certainly of the opinion, if Kenny Miller's down there on club business with Graham Murty, then how serious are the allegations? Clearly something has happened, and clearly something has been said, but it's just disappointing, you just feel yourself kind of in the dark, and kind of plodding along and just waiting for the next incident, the next, to happen to a club, for players on the front page of the papers, the manager all over the back page, and goodness, you're just wanting this to settle down and win football matches,
I think
you really do.
The key issue is that you're right there, that Miller has been dropped from the first team, but not, there's no Joey Barton-esque stay away from the club or anything like that. He is still involved, which probably means that the fissure, if you like, isn't quite as serious as something like that. Against that, I mean, I'm of the opinion that I don't think Kenny Miller can complain about being out of the first team squad just purely on merit. I mean, over and above any unhappiness that the player and coach may have with each other, you look at his form and it simply hasn't been good enough to justify a starting position.
That's right, but I think this is what we always all believed would happen, that he would be gradually phased out. And even though he was given a year's contract, I'm firmly of the belief, Caixinha would have a good idea that his dressing room was going to be filled with a group of new players, guys coming from abroad, and somebody you would want holding on in there, and kind of hanging it together would be someone like Kenny Miller. Right. So I can totally understand the year's contract, but what I fail to understand is if the toys have come out the pram because he isn't getting enough game time. Fair enough, to counter that, he could say, if you were speaking to him yourself, well, the results aren't coming, but he's not been contributing, it's not as if
he's been in the team though, exactly. It's not,
well, that's right.
It's not like he's not getting a game and we're playing poorly. He's playing, he's starting, and the results weren't coming.
Yeah, so I think we all believed that it was always going to be a case of he would be getting phased out by this stage, So again, it's confusing, there's different reports, coming from, and I have asked at the club once or twice, and it's just there's an issue here, there's an issue there, but it's usually been blown out of proportion by the guys in the media and the press, and that side is understandable as well,
I do wonder sometimes if Rangers are, and I understand, listen, Kenny Miller wouldn't be the first professional football player to, start raging against the dying of the light when it comes to his career. It must be very difficult to, when your body won't do the things that your brain tells it to. It is very difficult, especially when you maybe consider yourself extremely fit, which he is. I mean, he's clearly a very fit guy for his age, but sometimes that sharpness goes from players. We've seen it go from guys at 33. There's no universal age when it'll happen, but occasionally you will see with a senior player where they just lose half a step, and in the case of Kenny Miller, it might not be, I don't think it's a fitness related thing, as you can see by the way he plays, but there is something lacking from his game. Maybe it's his form, I don't know, but like I say, I certainly can't see any reason why he could feel that he should be an automatic starter, other than based on, look what I've done in the past. But I always think that's the dodgiest reason for anybody to have a first team berth, is look what I've done in the past, especially at a club like Rangers, where the fans after your career will look back through blue tinted spectacles and will have a look and say, oh, we loved him, he did this, he did that. But during your career with Rangers, you're as good as your last game, and it's applied to better players than Kenny Miller.
That's right, but I mean, I think, it was surprising, because he is now the senior professional at the club, and there's one thing that Caixinha and the team and every single one of us bells is screaming out for, is stability. We seriously need stability at the club, and if he's part of whatever reason, that's not things unstable, then it's all very sad, But again, it's there'll always be a way forward, It's the team did come out fighting for him on Friday night, which after the first 50 seconds, I think we were all sitting saying to each other, here they go again, and but no, they did push on, and it was good to see a bit of togetherness, but it's but again, and it is at the early stages of Caixinha's career, and a lot of those guys' Rangers football careers, and we just seem to be having to go that extra mile, you know, to get a result, you know, against the likes of Hamilton and Partick Thistle, you know, and that's a concern. That's a concern. I mean, moving on for Friday, that is a serious concern, is where the consistency is going to come from, you know, because it's not only a team that we're hoping is going to settle in quickly, it's a team that really isn't getting the opportunity to settle, you know. I mean, you're going to be without Ryan Jack now in the next game, and Pena looks as if he's doing his best to join him in the stand, you know. So, as I said, there is issues there, you know, and I would like to think they're going to be addressed, you know, sooner rather than later, but it's going to be difficult, you know. It's just going to continue to be difficult, you know. I can see his couple of wins here, a draw there, a defeat. I can just see this is the way the season is going to unfold for us, you know.
Well, we've seen it before. I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen before, unfortunately. We're aware of what can happen. I mean, a season can unravel very quickly. I think back to Alex McLeish's last season when, you know, we won the title, obviously, you know, magnificently, and then just collapse. And he started that next season well. If you remember, we had Emerson to be a good sign, and things were going well, and then boom, by December he was done. He was completely done as a Rangers manager. So we can see that. But let's go back to Friday night then. And you're right, that opening 50 seconds, the goal goes in, and it's the type of goal you concede when you've had the kind of week that we'd had, and it was
that's right.
Absolute comedy of errors. You know, terrible defending from right to left. Boys strides through. It's the Stushy in the box, and of course it doesn't even go in first time. Elon gets the pain for us a little bit.
No, that's right. It's always going to take 3 or 4 deflections, you know. But it doesn't matter. One mistake and we're punished. You know, that just seems to happen as well. You know, but you just seem to know that when the guy spun Cardozo, you're just saying it's actually going on the back of the net. You know, and 9 times out of 10 it does, you know, or sometimes 10 times out of 10, you know, and it's just so frustrating, you know. I
think that after that, I mean, at that point I was like, oh, here we go, and I think we all were, because as I say, we've seen this movie. However, I will say to Rangers' credit, over and above turning out the result, they just kicked off again. And you could see that, and I mean that in a complimentary sense, because they didn't go, oh, here we go again, which we were, and I think a lot of fans were, and I think that the players wouldn't have been excused for doing it, but you could have understood had they done it. But instead, they just kicked off again and went, right, let's start again. And from there, 2 superb runs from Elton John gets us back into the game. The first, a terrific shot from outside the edge of the box on his wrong foot. Then, lovely passing move, gets him in inside the box, and he finishes. Bad goalkeeping, bad defending. I think we'd have to mention that, but still, we've not always taken advantage, especially this season, of bad defending. Candace smacks in a beauty, and from there, Rangers are an easy street in that first half.
It was. You know, it was great to see. You know, it really was. They did pull together, and I thought they were just going to wilt. You know, and it would be a bit of huff and puff, but no, they pull together, and hopefully we're going to see a lot more of that over the coming weeks. We don't want to be coming back from 1-0 down. You know,
we're not
too
good
often,
enough to give teams a 1-goal start every week, mate. We're not good enough to do that. We got away with it. Hamilton were very poor on Friday, and there were, you know, there's other factors for us. That pitch was atrocious. It looked like it had snow on it, for Christ's sake. It was so shiny and plastic. But we then managed to get back into it. Now, second half starts, and of course, you know, we're in control, but then Ryan Jack, 2 really quick yellow cards, both of which I felt, you could say the first one was a little soft, but it was probably still a yellow, but both of them deserved, puts us in bother. Luckily, Jason Holt, with absolutely fantastic guts and refusal to give up, wins as a penalty. From that, Graham Dorrans puts it away, and again we're back in easy street. Even time for Wes to make a late penalty save and a couple of decent stops, although by then the game was done. What were your thoughts on the Jack red card and then the Pena incidents? Because you know, I've complained about referees this season. I think at least one referee has cost us 3 points in a match this season, and in a performance so bad that you have to question it. But the referee the other night, I couldn't have complained had he sent Pena off for that first half tackle, and certainly couldn't have complained if he then sent him off for the elbow, which clearly he missed, but then the deliberate handball into the net. I mean, that's a booking. He got that wrong. He should have given him a second yellow.
Yeah. It must really be frustrating, you know. If it was certainly frustrating sitting watching it, but it must be equally so for Alexa Ryan Jack. Fair enough, you know. If you want to go by the letter of the law, then he probably has got to go.
He's got to be he's got to be more sensible, mate, with that second tackle.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, but when he's seen what's going on round about him, you know, and there's look, Pena for one is staying on field. You know, it's just the level of officiating in the country is extremely poor. I'm not telling you anything here. You know, it's it's absolutely substandard. You know, and there's no consistency. You know, with the decisions. You know, and it's but you just know. I don't know if it's that we're just our players are just easy to send off. You know, easy to give the. You know, a quick dismissal. I really don't know. You know, it's just it's really frustrating.
Well, we're not going to pan anybody's windows after a bad refereeing performance. And referees know that. We are easier to make a decision against than certain other clubs. Absolutely, and you can see that. Yeah. And that's nothing new. That's due to an orchestrated campaign over 2 decades to make it that definitely. Way. That's just paying off of an investment. And but I could not have complained had Pena gone off. And to paraphrase Lionel Shriver, we need to talk about Carlos. I had seen now I'm like yourself, you know, I've known each other for years. I'm a glass half full guy, and I look for positives, and especially with new players, and especially giving new players time to bed in. And I think that there have been signs, just flashes of what Pena can do, why he's been brought in, why the manager has invested in him. But the performance the other night was appalling. I mean, it was a 2 out of 10, and he got 1 for managing to make it onto the field in both half, and then realising it was his number. He gets the other point for when he was being taken off. He was dreadful. He could do nothing right. And now, some people have suggested maybe it's his first time playing in that sort of pitch, but the mistakes that we saw were mistakes that we'd seen in other matches from him. And it was a lack of control. It was a lack of sharpness. It was picking the wrong pass, etc., etc. And then to top that display off with, I think, a pretty shocking bout of indiscipline. To me, that's a guy. The handball in particular on a yellow is a guy with no brain, because I think 99 times out of 100 you get a yellow card for that and you're off, and nobody could have complained about it.